Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today we are going to talk about bones of skull. And here at the side you can see the diagrammatic representation of skull showing different bones in different colors for the reference. So let's start the topic with introduction. The human skull is a complex bony structure that forms the head. It protects the brain, supports facial structures, and provides attachment points for muscles involved in chewing, speech, and facial expression. It is divided into two main parts: cranial bone that forms the protective cranial cavity surrounding the brain, and facial bones that form the structure of face and house the opening for respiratory and digestive tract. Now let's start with the cranial bones. These bones encase the brain and are tightly packed, are joined by immovable joints that are called sutures. They include frontal bone, that is unpaired bone. It forms the forehead and roof of the eye socket. It contains the frontal sinuses and contributes to the upper part of the cranial cavity. Next cranial bone we have is the parietal bone, that is the paired bone. They are located on either side of skull. They form most of the roof and upper sides of cranial cavity. Next cranial bone we have is the temporal bone, that is also the paired bone. It forms beneath the parietal bone on either side of head. It contains ear canal and structure essential for hearing and balance. Each has a process such as styloid process and styloid process. Next bone we have is occipital bone, that is unpaired bone of cranium. It forms the base and back of skull. It contains the foramen magnum through which the spinal cord connects to the brain. Next cranial bone we have is a sphenoid bone, that is a butterfly shaped bone at the base of skull. It articulates with many other cranial bones and contains the sella turcica, which houses the pituitary gland. Here in the diagram you can see the pink colored bone is sphenoid bone. Next bone is ethmoid bone. You can see the red color bone in diagram is ethmoid bone. It is unpaired bone. It is a delicate bone located between the eyes. It contributes to the walls of orbits and nasal cavity. It contains the crista galli and cribriform plate. Now let's talk about the facial bone. As we earlier said, the bones of skull are composed of two types, the cranial bone and facial bone. We have talked about the cranial bone, and now we are going to talk about the facial bones. These bones form the basic framework of the face and serve protective and structural function. These include nasal bone, that are the paired bone, and here in the diagram you can see the green color bone in front are the nasal bone. They are small rectangular bones that form the bridge of nose. Next facial bone we have is maxilla, that is also the paired bone, and in diagram you can see the light green color bone or the maxilla. They form the upper jaw, parts of orbit, and anterior portion of hard palate. Each maxilla contains maxillary sinus. Next facial bone we have is zygomatic bone, that is also the pair bone. In diagram you can see the white color bone is zygomatic bone. It is also known as the cheekbone, and it articulates with the temporal bone through the zygomatic arch. Next bone we have is a mandible, that is unpaired bone. As you can see in the diagram, the light blue color bone below is the mandible. It is the lower jaw bone. It is only movable bone in the skull. It supports the lower teeth and play a key role in speech and chewing. Next special bone we have is the lacrimal bone. There are two in number, and they are smallest bone located in the medial wall of each orbit. They contain a lacrimal groove for tear drainage. Next special bone is the palatine bone, that is the pair bone. They contribute to the posterior part of hard palate and nasal cavity. Next facial bone is inferior nasal conchae, that are also the pair bones. They are thin curved bones projecting from the lateral walls of nasal cavity. Next facial bone we have is the vomer, that is unpaired bone. It forms the inferior part of nasal septum dividing the nasal cavity. Now let's talk about important sutures of skull. They are coronal suture, that is present between the frontal and parietal bone. Sagittal suture, that is present between the two parietal bone. Lambdoid suture, that is present between the parietal and occipital bone. Squamous suture, that is present between the parietal bone and temporal bone. Now let's talk about the conclusion of all this lecture video. Human skull is marvel of natural architecture. Strong yet lightweight, complex yet symmetrical. Each bone plays a role in protecting the brain, supporting sensory organs, and allowing communication and movements. Understanding the skull structure is fundamental for anatomy, medicine, dentistry, and anthropology. And this was all about bones of skull. Hopefully you liked the video. If you do, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment. Thank you for watching.